Right, well, morning all. We're on to the rear hubs now. I cleaned this one up. This is the near side one. It's got the left hand thread wheel studs in it. Wheel studs have been out. Everything's been cleaned up. Not going to paint it because these are really tight on the centre of the wheel. So I've put a coat of paint on it now, such as I build primer or etch primer, and then a coat of colour. I'm making it thicker and thicker, and again we've got to flick it all over again when we do the final build, so we're just going to make a mess of it. So we're going to build it up without paint. This one I'm yet to do. That's what we're going to get into this morning. Obviously it's all flaking off. I did think about doing it with the needle gun, which probably would have meant I didn't have to take the wheel studs out. However, you're not going to get to everything, so we're going to pull the wheel studs, take the inner bearings out, and do it with the wheel of death. Good show. Right, the next job is to get this seal arrangement out. We've got two really basic seals here stacked for the rear hub. The part number on this seal is something like 600, which is 6 inch outer diameter, 500, which is 5 inch inner diameter, and I think it's 20, which is basically ½ inch, and you've two of those. One at the bottom, one at the top. They sit within a carrier, and we'll see that when it comes out. Don't really know why Foden's chose to do it that way. My assumption would be that using the older S39 axle and then going for this hub reduction hub and the larger bearings, this aperture didn't allow the installation of the bigger bearings, so they've had to put these in a cartridge to get us down to the size for that S39 axle. That's what I'm guessing, because you wouldn't ordinarily do it, because it puts, you know, effort and time and complexity into the actual build. But we'll flip it over and get the carrier knocked out, and you'll see what I'm on about. Well, nothing new here. We've got the cutouts to knock the bearing out, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to knock the bearing track out, and that will push out that hub seal arrangement, and obviously give us an opportunity then to clean everything up nice. So I'll just drift it out. That's going quite nice. Ordinarily you'd do this on the brake drum, of course, but they're out over on the other shed, so I'm not going over for them. There we go, nearly there. That's your lot. So that's obviously his bearing track. That's our bearing race. And then this is the carrier with the two hub seals in. And like I say, I think the main reason for using that carrier is to get the hub seal down to a size that fits the 39 axle, but also allows a wheel bearing big enough to take the increased loads, but I could be wrong. Right, that's not bad. We've degreased it all now, pretty much. So we'll get set up to give it some angle grinder. Afternoon all. One of the challenges with this YouTube log is trying to get everything that you want to put in without boring people to death, which is pretty difficult if I'm honest. So this is the near side hub. Hub reduction's in, new hub seals are in, and we've fitted this end drive cap. I'm going to look at what Foden's call that. The reason why the cap is on at the moment is purely as a test fit, because I want to see if it moves and everything works okay. When I dismantled it about, I don't know, whatever it was, 3 years ago, one of the drive paddles was broken. It came out on its own. I have had a half-hearted attempt at finding another cap, but ultimately this is about restoration, not parts replacement. It would probably be alright with the 3 paddles that are in there, but I'd rather we have a go at mending it, and I think it'd be quite interesting. So it is cast, it is cold, so I'm going to pull the cap off and we'll get it on the bench and see if we can perform a repair. There are 2 drawing holes or drawing bolt holes on this, and I have tapped them out or cleaned the threads out. They're 1/2 inch UNF, and I think it should come apart reasonably easy because all of them tapped it in, obviously. There we go. So you can see we've got the 3 paddles. There's a gear setting here that these drive against. Interestingly, the front edges of all of them have got a burr on them, and that's obviously the push edge, and the back edge hasn't got a burr on, but there's the 3 paddles and this one belongs there. So we're going to get cleaned up and see if we can effect a repair. Perfect. Right, if we lift this out and look under here, you can see that, you know, it's pretty well tarnished, and you know, this has obviously ran for some time, broken, and you know, the comforting factor of that, I suppose, is if our repair fails now, it's unlikely to do any damage, because obviously this has run so long with it. Remember, I drove this back from Belgium, how long it had been running about with this piece broken as it was. The edge, you can see here, it's got quite a couple of proud edges, and then this broken piece. The advantage being, especially down there, but the advantage being it allows us to locate it more or less exactly correctly. So what I'm going to do now is grind this edge, and I'm probably looking for, to take 1/4 inch out of there and do something similar there, but I still want to leave that block in and this block in, because they'll become my locators. Once we've got it refitted, we'll look to grind these out so that we can fill them a weld. Let's see how we go on. Right, we've got us grinding on both sides. That will do us for the minute, because I still want the location points. Ideally I'm going to grind into here and grind into here, but I want to get it sort of fixed in place before we take any more out. Right, we're having a good wipe over now with a bit of thinners, because we want to try and get as much of the oil and contaminants off here as we possibly can, because when the weld starts popping and farting, you're going to put air pockets into your weld. Nothing we're doing here is guaranteed, so cleanliness is next to godliness. That's not bad, the rag's staying clean now. This is where you need that 3rd pair of hands, look. That's looking pretty good. Just going to stack a bit more timber up just to give us a bit more lean and hopefully slightly better angle to get in at. That should be better. It's quite cold here. It's currently about 1 degree here. It's really too cold to be doing this, but we're going to crack on and do it because I need to get on with it. So one of the things we're going to have to manage is how we warm this up. So we're going to warm it gently with the hot air, then go to the MAP gas, and then go to the actual weld. Right, that's the first pass on the weld done. So what I'll do now is get this off and then do some work with the die grinder on the ends to get into the ends, because obviously it's going to push and tear if we don't. So we've got to get into the ends, make a little recess in the end so I can fill it with weld, grind back through that weld and then weld over again to sort of bridge both pieces of metal. But overall that don't look bad. Just check it for square again. Yeah, that's pretty good. This has held it pretty well. Right, we've got the first of the welds in. It's quite hot obviously. What I want to try and do now, I want to die grind into that corner there so that I can fill it with weld. I need to crack on because obviously it's getting cold, and then I've got to do the other side and carry on welding. We've got it trapped in the workmate, so it should work pretty well. I'm going to try and catch this other side now. Right, we'll attempt a final layer across there and then try and keep it hot. Right, that's not bad that. Well, we look to have filled all the holes. Look to have some decent penetration across the top. We've definitely filled the fillet. We've gone a bit too far out into this part here. I don't know what you'd call that, but onto that ridge. We've gone further there than I wanted to. So there's quite a bit of weld there to die grind out. This side's pretty good though. Got this one just about right. So we've had the heat cooling it down or warming it down probably 20 minutes now. We did it with the flame, and then we've obviously got the hot air gun going on. It you can feel the heat on my face. It's still very warm. I'm not worried about anything catching fire now, so the next job really is to get the heat gun out of the way, cover it up and let it cool down overnight. We certainly can't grind it for, well, a good 12 to 18 hours I'd say, because everything's got to contract back. Good stuff. It's tucked up and hopefully it just cools gently. Right, well, morning all, it's the following day. I finished welding this probably about 3:30 yesterday afternoon, and we obviously covered it up. It's -3 outside, it's 0 in here. I could put the heater on, etc., but we're not staying in here. Last night when I came down to check, it was about -4 outside and probably 1 below in here, but the housing, the end cap at about 8 o'clock last night, because we'd insulated it, felt like a warm cup of tea. So I'm reasonably confident that she's you know, she's cooled pretty gracefully. Stone cold now, as you'd expect. Just wanted to check there was no residual heat left in it. Looks pretty good really, that. I suppose my main concerns are around squareness, etc. I've got the square, just found it on the deck, and she's not bad. It's too cold to do any grinding, but what we can do is see if she fits in the hub. Now when I pulled this to bits, I did take the precaution of marking the hub with a chisel. Put an arrow there and an arrow on that, because I want it to go back as it came out. But what I'm really interested in at the moment is whether she will fit in there. There's 4 of those drive plates in there that we need to get matched up. It's quite a delicate operation. Right, there we go, we've made contact. Very tight going in, but I think that's pretty normal. Never done one of these before. Not done the other side yet, so nothing to judge it against. But ultimately it's gone in. Seems okay. Probably, if I'd have thought on, I should have put some engineer's blue on that just to see where we're touching. We can massage it up, but give it a bit of a grind with gears. You never know, that might just tell us where stuff needs a grind off, but with a fair idea. When it came out, this was pretty much what we were dealing with. Certainly the other side, which was gently going round and prying at it like this. Yeah. That's pretty good, that. We'll get everything cleaned up, get these welds cleaned up in there, and yeah, we'll not be far off. We can see where that gear's been hitting. Lovely. Well, it's a messy old job, that is for certain, but we're doing okay. On this back edge here where you can see it's shiny at the back, all I've done there is taken out the weld spatter. Might as well get that out of the way early on. You can see this side, we've just got the weld and the big chunk where we've done the end of the paddle, or whatever you want to call it, but this side is ground back now. I don't think we need to go a lot further than that. I think that should be okay. And I've cleaned up around where the weld was here, so that the drive plate will go in, and that goes in quite nice, really. Bit fiddly, but quite nice. You can hear it sort of clicking against that back lip. When it's in the little pinion that goes with it, I'm sure it'll be a bit neater. At the back of this, on the outside, I found a lump of weld, which is probably what was making it difficult to put into the hub arrangement the other day. I should have thought about that, really. So I'm still using the die grinder, or should I say die grinders, and I'm using the power file as well, and that's given us a really good result. So I'm going to carry on with this side. Some of this middle will get left because it doesn't need to come out, and if you take it out, of course, you're reducing strength. So yeah, I'll crack on, and then we'll see at the end of it. Right, I've just put the offside gear set in just to try it in the housing, you know, just to see where we're up to. That gear's okay, that gear's okay. That one is touching the weld, it won't rotate, so I'm going to have to take some more out of that. And then this one, whilst it rotates, it's got the faintest kiss, so I'm going to have to take a bit more out of that one, but we're in really good shape. So all I'm going to do is just mark up near the gear and then grind back to that line and just make sure that we put a clearance in. Good stuff. So this is the paddle we've welded in. You can see here that we've cleaned those edges. Both of them are absolutely super now. They're running really nice, so I'm really pleased with that. The rest of them are running okay. There's nothing wrong with them either. Super. Well, that's all been a bit of a success, really. The weld's gone really well, and because we've been grinding into it, I can see that it's, you know, it's penetrated well, and we've got no pockets in there. I was concerned about pockets. Everything's spinning now because we've completed the grind and we've put the clearance into the welds, and it's allowed me to leave that bit in the middle proud, which gives me a bit more strength, I suppose, in that webbing. The next job is to clean this up, I suppose, complete the near side hub. But yeah, it's freezing outside and it's freezing in here, so I think it's a good place to call this installment for now. And as I say, the next installment will come back. I'm going to build that offside hub up, and I'm hoping we can slip a couple of wheels on and the back axle's done for now. We can get onto the front end. Brilliant. Thanks for watching.